But joining us now, live in studio for tonight's big close-up, is White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary and Special Assistant to the President, Harrison Fields. Great to have you here, Harrison.
Great to be here.
You know, you hear all these Obama officials claiming that Russia was responsible for this, for hacking the election, but it wasn't Russia. It was Barack Obama who gave the orders for them to take this and run with it, which, of course, stayed with the country for years.
Yeah, it was the predicate for everything that we're seeing for the past almost 10 years. You started with the Russia hoax. That led to the indictments. That led to the impeachments. That led to the lawfare that we saw for years. We all witnessed it. And you know who was in bed with the Democrats and Obama? The media. This was the same media that was pushing this entire narrative that the president was somehow a Russian asset. We all know it was false. We all knew when he was president of the United States what he did to Russia. He gave Ukraine Javelin missiles when Obama gave them pillows and blankets. President Trump was the person that was taking in all the shots from the Democrats from 2016, from the second he came down the elevator. And we all knew it was BS. And now we have Tulsi Gabbard that's able to put out the facts. And this is why if you look at the confirmation hearings, who got it the worst? Tulsi was one of the people that got it the worst because they knew exactly what she would do. Uncover the biggest scandal in politics, the insane, asinine Russian dossier that we all knew was false, but led to lawfare and indictments and the raiding of his home. Every American should be up in arms right now.
Harrison, you said it right there. We all knew. And in the last hour, we were discussing this, and we all knew. We knew it, but the media was covering for them, and we couldn't get anyone at the FBI. They all, they all wouldn't admit guilt. Everybody lied. What do you do in that case? What's the way to handle this going forward? Is it prosecutions? Is it a special prosecutor? Is it trying this more in the media that wants to keep covering it up? What do you think?
Well, you tried in the media, and guess what the media did? They hired all these people. Brennan, all of these people, they're all hired, MSNBC and CNN. So the media is going to cover for their colleagues, of course, but we have a DNI and we have a Department of Justice and Attorney General Pam Bondi who's going to look into this and hold people accountable. I am sure of that. I worked for Pam Bondi when I was 22 years old. This is a woman that takes crime seriously. She is not going to abdicate her responsibilities because she doesn't want the Washington Post to say a bad thing about her. She's going to go over it because we have to deliver justice. We have to give the American people their due, because we're the ones, the will of the American voter from 2016 on, who voted for President Trump in overwhelming majorities, had to deal with this. Our country was so divided from these investigations. Like I said before, it was the predicate for everything. Obama's hands are on this. And what is he doing now? He's over here with his wife doing a podcast, walking without flip-flops on the beach, acting like his whole career was everything and a bag of chips. It wasn't. It was the most corrupt presidency we've ever seen. We thought Joe Biden was bad. Now we know who was behind it all. It was Barack Hussein Obama, and we need answers.
Well, Harrison, in day one, President Trump has said that this White House was going to be open and transparent. Earlier this week, we had media reports mentioning that the president had bruising on his hands, swelling on his feet. And in a refreshing breath of transparency, we had full physical exam reports. He underwent Doppler ultrasound, and we got everything from it. We were able to close this book. You know, as a physician who has covered White House presidents since 2015, I can tell you I've never seen something like this before. We had questions, we had answers. Can you just talk us through a little bit about the mindset of the president? Like, why is he so dedicated to being so open and transparent?
Because he loves and respects the American people. There is a reason why he wants to engage with them, engage with the media. Even the hostile media, he still wants to call and talk to them. When Kristen Welker calls, he answers. Why? Not because he likes Kristen Welker, because what that will do for the American people. Millions of people are going to be able to talk to him and listen to him. I've served in the press office for 2 administrations now. I was an assistant press secretary in Trump 1.0, now a principal deputy. From under Kayleigh McEnany to under Caroline Leavitt, we know what the mandate is. Get the message out, despite what they're going to say. Get the message out, because this is the mandate of the President of the United States. He respects the American people. He wants to level with them every step of the way. Compared to the last 4 years, where they lied to the American people from every second of the day, was a lie. Inflation was under control. The border was secure. The world is a safer place. We all know it wasn't. This president is he's the most transparent and accessible president. Let me tell you, we'll be sitting down ready to eat lunch call the press over to the Oval Office. For what? We don't know. The president wants to speak to them. This is who he is.
And this president also seems more physically and cognitively fit to be sitting in the White House.
Oh, he runs circles around us.
Yeah, and he certainly
Actually
he actually does, as opposed to some of the other things we've heard in the past, not just throwing shade, just calling it out. All right, now let me ask you this. House Republicans, as you know, are investigating the biggest, what a lot of people feel like is, without question, the biggest cover-up in American history. You just heard Dr. Sapphire allude to it, the Biden auto pen scandal. But almost all of the former Biden officials, Harrison, the ones that have been interviewed, you know, they're pleading the fifth time and time again, refusing to answer questions. So this White House is also apparently conducting its own investigation into the cover-up, poring over thousands and thousands of documents, many coming from the National Archives. In fact, more than 1 million documents ultimately could be reviewed in total. So the question I have for you, sort of a two-parter. One, what can you tell us about the investigation? And two, what's your expectation moving forward?
Yeah, so it's an ongoing investigation, so I'm going to let the White House counsel and Department of Justice speak to it more at the appropriate time. But I can tell you that it is indeed on its way. Why? Because the last 4 years, we wondered who the heck was running our country. And now we know that it was probably a machine. The same machine that goes to sign letters for, you know, your 13th birthday or whatever, was running our country. But behind that machine was likely senior administrations officials that weren't elected. We didn't know these people's names, but they were running the country. Why? Because we had an inept and a decrepit president of the United States that didn't know what he ate for breakfast, but somehow can lead this country. And we saw what happened. He led this country into the dirt. The open border, the economy, the wars, the just chaos across every corner of this country. This president is determined to clean it up. So while he's correcting, making inflation better, jobs reports after jobs reports looking incredible, our border secure, he's trying to get peace globally. The investigators are having to look into who exactly was running this country and what senior staffers were doing this and what was the sinister motive behind it all. This investigation is going to be so important because the American people have so many questions. And we all know Joe Biden was not running this country. And if in fact it was a machine, that's a problem. And if he was ceding his power to staffers to sign pardons like Fauci's pardon, like Hunter Biden's pardon, to the January 6th committee pardons, we need answers, because if he was asleep at the wheel and this machine was just signing legal documents after legal documents, that's a problem. I've seen the president sign executive orders. I've seen him sign the pardons. It is his right hand doing it. It is that beautiful Sharpie marker doing it. It is not a machine.
A lot of people are going to be wondering if we're talking about Nira, are we talking about Zients, are we talking about Monaco? Keep those names in mind. A lot of people want to know exactly who was the brains, Rice, who are the brains behind the pen?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, what is your response to the staffers who've been brought in front of Congress for testimony so far, pleading the fifth and saying we're not going to talk about it? You'd think that after saying for years that the president was running circles around them, that they would want to go in and you know, do some honor to his name and say he was fit as we said he was, but they're not doing that.
Yeah, they had googly eyes in the West Wing for a long time, and now their eyes are probably like, oh crap, we've got a problem on our hands. And they probably wish they auto pen signed a pardon for themselves, because now they find themselves in a lot of hot water. James Comer isn't playing around. He's going to, and my old boss Byron Donalds is on the Oversight Committee too. These people are going to be held accountable. What that looks like, the jury's still out for that. But the fact that they're pleading the fifth, that's a problem. It speaks to the level of cover-up. It's the largest cover-up, the largest corruption this nation has probably ever seen. We thought Watergate was a problem. No, we thought Benghazi was a problem. It was. But what we're seeing right now is absolutely insane. And these are the same people that wag their fingers at us to tell us how bad President Trump was, how bad his administration was. But meanwhile, they were the corrupt ones. They were doing the same exact thing they lied and said President Trump was doing. And President Trump wasn't doing any of it. But the American people, almost 80 million of them, knew the truth. And this is why President Trump won in such a resounding mandate, and this is why he's back behind that resolute
More
desk.
to come for sure. Harrison Fields, White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's great to have you. We'll see you back in D.C.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.